Welcome to my whiteboarding sessions. Whiteboarding sessions is just like one of the few things where I just talk through ideas, lessons, and whatever. But yeah, so first video is just taking out lessons from 2022 and seeing what we can actually apply into 2023. So the first key component from 2022, put first things first. There's no honor or nobility in, you know, falling on your own sword per se, for anything in life. You need to, if I'm not working, nothing works in my life, simply put. Me, um, there's three check-ins. I have to ensure that I actually okay for me to recognize where I'm at. I need to be mentally well, physically healthy, and spiritually at peace. If any of the three parts of me are in crisis, I need to actually ring my own alarm bell and be like, hey, um, we're not okay. So some of the habits I just literally put up is like reading, writing, meditating, and there's also a key component of me being honest with myself, and that's to do with boundaries. When we go to the reading, that's to do with more perspective. There's this thing that I've always known to say that your problem with problems isn't the actual problem itself, but rather the way you're looking at it. So by reading and engaging other people's perspectives, there's always an easier way to actually work through a solution for any problem. And I believe in like, yeah, groupthink in terms of like problem solving because it's much easier. But whatever, it's to short circuit the thing. The writing component. Writing is always important for me because it gives me that perspective as well to actually like take the time to put my thoughts down and be like, okay, it gives me the time to be honest. Um, the meditating, it just calms me down to actually like understand feelings, like, you have the emotion wheel. If anybody has actually been to therapy for long enough, they have the emotion wheel. And I love it. It helps you process through your like emotions and understand like how to better communicate what you're feeling. Cycling and golf for me, those are like activities for my inner child. I have, I need joy, I need peace, I need time with myself. Like I don't really, I'm an introvert. So I gain energy by spending time with me. The more time I spend with other people, the less time I'm actually, having fun. And that's just coming to terms with myself, and not to say there's anything wrong with anything else. It's just coming to terms with myself. So in the process of self-love, there are a few things I have to do to ensure that I'm actively my best friend. We talk about simple things like, treat yourself as you would treat somebody you love. And unfortunately, like in 2022, I did not show up for myself as much as I should have. And it pained me how much I didn't show up for myself and how much I didn't think I was worthy to show up for myself. And I allow people to like take advantage of that. But anyway, that's to do with the first lesson. And then going into my second lesson, I think this one is actually like very, it follows on really well. It's just to say it's okay to make mistakes. Um, as you know, like you said, treat yourself as you treat somebody you love. And as somebody who is cognizant of the difference between self-centeredness and not putting enough self love, I get to make a lot of mistakes. I don't establish boundaries when I need to establish boundaries, and then when I have to, and then I feel shy about reestablishing boundaries when like you're within a relationship with somebody, work wise, whatever, whatever. And I'm like, nah. So there's like a way I've actually started thinking about it, where it's like, is it a two-way door type of decision? Or is it like a one-way door type of decision? Two-way doors basically opens both sides, so you can go through the door and come back out of the door. Where a one-way door, once you go through it, it kind of is difficult to get back out of that decision. And yeah, it's just like a few examples where I was just like, you know what, throughout the year, I was actually thinking about it. It's like, okay. And then why it's important to actually term your decisions like this is, two-way door decisions make it, there isn't that much cost associated with two-way door decisions, so you can actually make them quick and inexpensively, so like without that much investment. Where one-way door decisions for me are those decisions that really take time, and they take time to process how to do it better, how to do it well. And it's also one of those decisions that have to do with like principles, values, and all that kind of stuff. So it's like when faced with like these are the ones where I take my time and I have to like completely like, you know, give it the gravitas it actually deserves, not just to like, you know, rush through making the decision for the sake of making a decision. And it's okay. In both cases, you're allowed to make mistakes. It's not. I don't think. I don't think mistakes are all that terrible. I think there's this whole notion. I've been reading Anti-Fragile by Nassim Taleb, where it talks about like being anti-fragile, and then you look at like the startup culture in the Americas, where it's like, okay, fail fast, make it quick. Those type of decisions, those are your two-way decisions, like bad code, you know. And making mistakes is part of life. You have the right to make a mistake, Bongani. It's important for you to make mistakes. Having battle wounds, battle scars give you character. They actually add personality to you, rather than the person who actually has always gotten everything right. Once you figure out what doesn't work, and you know, and I think this is where I have to also like attack my perfectionism, where sometimes I generally don't do stuff because I want it to be perfect. Just like this channel, where I'm like, yeah, I really want to get to a point where it's perfect, but sometimes just getting it done and you see feedback, and that's really the attitude I want to take into this year, 2023. I want to make as many mistakes as I need to make, to just figure out how not to do something. You know, like when you have dreams, goals, whatever, like as we've all been setting out for the year 2023, I really just want to make as many mistakes as I need. I need to give myself, you know, I'm looking at it as saying, okay, you kind of made a decision. We're halfway through actually going through the process of seeing it through, and we're seeing that maybe we actually didn't do this the right way. Stop, rethink it, and make a better decision, rather than just like sticking down a bad road and like I think that's the thing that really irritates me about some things, where it's like, you know, you're making a bad decision and you keep going down the bad road and you don't actually change. So some of the habits where I'm like, okay, sharp, how do we also like put into places processes and steps to actually not go down and making stupid decisions for the rest of our lives, which is basically journaling, which is part of my writing, and mentors. I think mentorship is a very important thing. Be teachable, and be humble enough to go and ask somebody who's done this life thing and has actually achieved what you want, and ask it. hey, mate, this is where I'm at. This is what I want. You have it. Teach me. Um, and to be quite frank, the people who actually manage to keep good things in their lives love teaching. It's funny enough. I like, yes, I've approached a lot of people, turn me down, and that's them. That's their own wahala. Like the people I've approached, and that's it. Like life is interesting. You'll get a no, but you're after the yes. Don't worry about the no's. So I think that's the one thing. Like having a mentor has actually also like genuinely made a difference in 2022. Just like okay, you figured out somebody who has what you want. You go at them and you sit down with them and you're in a process of being teachable and it holds you accountable. It's not as bright, you know. I'm my worst counsel in terms of dealing with decisions. Like decisions to do with people. Like I'm somewhat cutthroat in terms of cutting people off once you've crossed my boundary, and I have to come back and really give some grace because I'm not perfect. And it's helped me navigate decision like interpersonal relationships a lot better by having a mentorship because somebody can see your decisions 3 to 5 years down the line because they've already lived your decisions and they've already regretted that mistake and they've had to go back and like make amends for that mistake. And they'll just give you that wisdom to say, okay, sharp. I wouldn't do that like that. I'll probably put like, and this is the thing. Every situation, even for myself, the situations I now know better to still somewhat come back and say, okay, I'll still make the same decision or choice, but I would have handled it a little bit better. Not because I know better now. And then getting into the last lesson for 2023. And I think that sounds a bit cheeky, but I wouldn't be me if I wasn't cheeky. Become too big to fail in your own life. Become too big to fail in your own life. Look at it. Look at the banks that survived '08 financial crises. You know, it's not because like don't allow the laws of nature to work in your life because unfortunately you will perish once you start going down a bad road. Like gravity will take effect, and without supernatural intervention into your life, there's no saving you. That's basically like done for. So when I'm talking about become too big in your life, get involved in like make your world so much bigger than yourself. Um, Family, friends, work, hobbies, and even now like it's a new thing for me. Support structures, support groups, and all that kind of stuff. It's not like yes, it is selfish. Yes, it is. Whatever. I don't care. What the basic concept of that is to say if you, and this is the thing people actually generally don't get. Like, how many times has Unilever filed for bankruptcy over the years? So many times. But why do like shareholders keep bailing them out? Is because there's something very important about becoming too big to fail. It creates in you values that everybody else loves about you, and it's not. And that's the thing where if you're going into this mindset to saying I'm get like where you get your ego a little bit too like out of your mind, right? You start saying what's in it for me rather than asking the simple question, what's in it from you? And that's the biggest key there. Like, it's not about you and what you can get, but it's like what you can give. Because when you need things, when you need saving, because shit's hitting the fan and you need saving. Um, it's important that somebody will go out of their way to come and save you. That's the moments when you experience grace. And in 2022, I experienced so many blissful moments of grace that literally saved my life. And it came from the most unexpected places, from most unexpected sources. After you'd have thought, after investing so much time in other people, you'd think they, when you're being used, you're being used. It doesn't matter. And the people I turned my back towards, or somewhat, were the first people to ever come and give me a hug when I needed a hug. And it's just this thing of saying, create within yourself values that make sure, like, that still push people to come for you. Like, and say it's a bit too easy for you to let go right now. Don't. Have a reason not to let go. I think that's the basic thing about becoming too big to fail. Have a reason not to let go.